everybody. Welcome to Bombshell Radio. I have an absolute delight here for you today. This is one of my new, and I would say already good friends, Barbie Jo, who I just met, like a couple weeks ago now, but has this one of those energies that you cannot mistake, in a person, just like grounded, self-possessed, but so kind and so confident, so chill. So I just adore you already. And even more so because you are really good at something that I am not good at all, which is being organized. So I will let you introduce yourself, and then we are just going to pepper you with questions as to how to get our lives together, Barbie Jo, because it's the beginning of the year and I'm feeling the struggle and I know I'm not alone. So give us a little bit of your background, who you are, how you got into organizing.
All right, very cool. Well, thanks for having me. This is awesome and you're amazing.
Yes.
And I have to say that I am so grateful to have met you because I feel like you just add so much to everybody's lives. So I'm glad you're a part of mine now. Thank you.
Aw, likewise.
Okay, so how I got started, such a road I would have never guessed took me to where I am today. So backstory, my parents divorced when I was 15. Everybody kind of chose team mom. I'm the oldest of six, and
Go team mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And one day I got a phone call from one of my dad's brothers, and he said, "Hey, we can't get a hold of your dad. Have you heard from him?" I said, "No, I haven't in a few days." We didn't have a super close relationship. He was kind of very distant, but it was unusual to not hear from him for long periods of time. Yeah. So anyway, we found out that he was in the hospital and he had overdosed on drugs.
Oh my. Aww.
And at this point in his life, he had burnt so many bridges that nobody wanted to scoop him up and save him. So I rose to that position.
Wow.
Had very little support doing so. Brought him into my home with our 5 kids, with my husband commuting back and forth to the farm. And I was like, I'm going to get you help. I'm going to get you better. And he didn't want it. He did not want to get better, but he did it for me. So he went through the 90-day program. And I remember being at his beck and call. And anytime he asked for anything, I took it to him. Anytime he had a question, I answered it. I was running back and forth for him more so than I was for all my 5 kids combined. And I remember at the end of that experience, I was so drained. It took 10 years off my life. My kids suffered from it. My husband suffered from it. Everybody took a huge hit because I took on this responsibility to care for my dad. And then day 90, when he graduated from the program, he disappeared and went right back to the life I saved him from. So after that experience, I said, never again. I want to be armed with the tools to help just build myself back to where I needed to be and help rebuild my family, because there was a wake of destruction for sure. And so that's when I became a certified life coach. I did it just for me, basically. I wanted to help rebuild that. And then I was going about, my merry way, and fast forward 6 months, we were in the same situation. He's back in the hospital. Nobody had heard from him for a long period of time. By the time we found him, he was on life support, another drug overdose. And I went to go scoop him up again because nobody else would. And this time I was armed with the tools, right? I didn't let him take from me like he did before. And this time we saw him through another round of rehab and we came out winning. My family was thriving. I was thriving. He was thriving. Fast forward 3 years, he's 3 years sober to this day. Yeah.
Wow.
And so that catapulted this whole component of now what I do in people's homes, because I started this home organizing business to help my family financially, because after 2 failed harvests, we didn't have any savings to live off of. We were applying for food stamps. We couldn't feed our family. So I thought, I have to do something to help. And that's when I started my home organizing business. And I learned very early on that the whole life component, the life coaching component, is so relevant when you're dealing with somebody's stuff, because you are so attached to your stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's that whole emotional attachment to everything that surrounds you in your home and in your space. And so now, going forward, I'm teaching other women and certifying them to do what I do and to become a professional organizer. But that first piece of it now is life coaching, because I think everyone needs to be armed with those tools.
That's like, that is not the story I expected. I guess I didn't know your backstory, but that is incredible. One, your character. Two, I mean, I think it takes an exceptional person to do the right and hard thing like you did, but then to do it again, but to do it like winning, like you said, like you learned the tools. You took the hit the first time and you said basically never again. I love that. Those are powerful words. I don't know anyone who doesn't make a shift after saying those words. And then you literally, like without intending to, you tested your own methods and you came out winning.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wow. Oh, and I loved it when you said things come up when you're dealing with your stuff. And it's like stuff in both senses, right? Like you're dealing with your stuff.
Yeah.
Gosh, so can you just like elaborate on that a little bit? Because that's certainly something that I resonate with whenever I go to get rid of items. It's like, wow, the guilt, the attachment, the like all these things. So I would love to hear what you mean when you say we're dealing with stuff.
So everyone has a different attachment to their stuff. And it's a piece of you, right? It's a piece of your memory. It's a piece of your history. It's a piece of your life. And a lot of times people have a hard time letting go of that. So that's when we come in and we help reframe it. Like there are other ways to take that piece of your life and to preserve it and protect it without having to hold on to a million items that are surrounding you and maybe bringing your energy down, cluttering you, not blocking your creativity, because your mind's eye takes in your environment. And if your atmosphere is chaotic, your mind is chaotic.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you sit down at your desk to get work done? And if your desk is cluttered and full of crap, you can't focus and get it done.
Yep.
But the second that desk is cleaned off, you're like in creative mode and you are just getting stuff done. So the same philosophy with your home. Yeah. So we want that to be a reflection of you and who you truly are. Yeah.
I love that. And I think, we both tend to work in audiences, markets of quote unquote good girls. And I imagine that perhaps there's even more of a sense of attachment of holding on to things because they're grandmas or their moms or their Aunt Susie's. And there's either like an unspoken expectation that you maintain it, or you feel like you're losing the person if you lose the item. Do you sense that women who are basically often people pleasers have an even harder time removing items and getting organized?
Ooh, good question. Yes, because they feel like they have to do, grandma great justice by honoring that Afghan she made, 75 years ago or whatever. But that's not the case. You honor them by upholding their legacy, respecting their name, living up to the values they lived up to, or even taking it a step further and doing better, leaving a better legacy than what was left prior to you. That's how you can uphold their legacy and honor them.
I love that. It's leaving a legacy instead of leaving a comforter
stuff.
or leaving,
Yeah.
leaving an item,
Yeah.
leaving a quilt.
Yeah.
So was this difficult for you? Like in between rehab 1 and rehab 2, is this something that comes naturally to you, or did you have to deal with a lot of your own stuff as you got organized?
It's something that has always come naturally to me. I can
Oh.
remember being the 8-year-old sorting my Halloween candy and bagging it by category and like having it in a basket. Like I was that person. So
That's
it,
awesome.
it came naturally to me, but a house of order, a house of God is a house of order, right? So I
Yeah.
always respected that aspect too. And I always wanted to have, just that calm, peaceful feeling at home. Your home should be a safe haven, an escape from that chaotic world.
Mhm.
And so I always wanted to have that peaceful
Yeah.
environment, whatever that looks like. So for me, it was extremely organized. We are definitely not minimalists by any means, but we are organized.
I'm so relieved to hear that because I am about as far from a minimalist as it's possible to get. And so every time people are like, embrace the minimalist lifestyle, I just think that's not going to work. So give me another option. So
Right.
that's very reassuring. So walk me through a little bit more what you did in between those two incredible seasons of your life. What were you specifically implementing from like a stuff perspective, maybe a schedule perspective, definitely it sounds like a mindset perspective in yourself and in your family, so that then when it hit again, you came out winning.
So it all goes back to that phrase we hear anytime we travel, anytime we get on an airplane, when they say the oxygen mask drops, who gets the oxygen first, right? You
Yep.
do,
Yeah.
usually. And that's where it all stems. If you're not drawing from a full well, you don't have anything else to give.
Mm.
So you have to make sure you are taking that oxygen first. You are taking care of yourself first and foremost
Yep.
before you have anything left to give anyone. And
Mm.
that's where I fell short. I thought I had to take care of everybody else. And then whatever was left, I would give to myself. And there was never anything left.
Yeah.
And what happened is I was depleted and then I was ripple affecting that. So I wasn't taking care of anybody. Everyone was suffering because I was suffering. So when you flip it and you take care of yourself first in all aspects,
Yep.
then everyone will thrive in your care.
Totally. Preach it, sister. I think that is so difficult for women, especially to internalize. And I think even more so women who grow up in the church or grow up kind of trying to be a
Uh,
good girl. It's like the exact opposite of what we're taught. And yet it is what works. It's even scriptural. It's all of these things. I like to say you put yourself first, like as far as in timeline, so you can then prioritize others to the max. So it's not like you're always just doing whatever you feel like doing. You're taking care of your needs first in time so that you can kind of actually prioritize them first overall. And I think that there are so many women who follow the old outdated system of everybody other than me, everybody else first. And it's not even just you're depleted, there's burnout, there's medical
oh,
issues, there's
totally.
so many awful tragedies that can come or at least be exacerbated by that, where then everybody else's life has to stop because you weren't taking care of yourself first. And so if we want to continue with the motive of guilt, please let me guilt you into taking care of yourself first, because I've just never seen that philosophy end well. And every woman who I've met, yourself included, who really is just kind of radiating health in many areas of her life, has at some point stumbled into the reality that that philosophy gives life to everyone in her life. It is not a selfish act. It's an essential one. So thank you so much for saying that. So from a practical standpoint, once you recognize that that was the mindset to have, what did you actually do to pour into yourself first?
Oh, okay. So I have 3 simple things that I preach to anyone and
Perfect.
everyone that will listen. And they're so stupid simple that you think, oh, yeah, but they are so effective. So effective.
Give
And
them to us.
all right, the first one, The second your feet hit the floor in the morning, make your bed. Turn around
Oh,
and
so
make your
good.
bed,
Yes.
because you're setting yourself up for success. You've
Yeah.
already checked something off your to-do list for the day. You have already set your bed up to greet you at the end of the day,
Hmm.
and it's doing something for you. So that's my
Yeah.
first tip every day. And this will boost your productivity. This will boost your momentum. It just gets you in that forward motion, right? That we
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
be in. So that's my first tip. Every morning, make your bed. And I like to
I
do
love that.
it the second my feet hit the ground. I turn around and I make that
Mm.
bed.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, second tip is to get dressed to the shoes. Even if you're
To the
not going to
shoes. Okay.
leave the house, hear me out here. You're not leaving the house all day like we didn't all of 2020.
Yeah.
We still got dressed to the shoes, and we found the days that we did, we were by far more productive than the days we
Wow.
didn't. So I'm talking like dressed for success. That is what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
putting yourself in a state of success.
Yeah.
And backstory, I had this little job, and it was a casual job. I would go to this older couple's home and just, I was their personal assistant. And I would go sometimes in my workout clothes, and sometimes I'd go in sweats. And then I started to adopt this philosophy of dressing for success because I wanted bigger and better things in life. And so
Mm.
I started to dress for success. And within 6 months, I got a raise. 3 months after that, I got put on salary for doing
Wow.
this little peon job. And the only thing that changed was how I was showing up for work.
Wow. Wow.
And so
That's so cool.
I say bring it in to the home too. Even if you're not
Yeah.
leaving the house, even if you're just running errands all day, get dressed
Mm.
for success.
So good.
All right. And my third, this is my home to keeping your home organized. This is the biggest thing. Keep your kitchen sink empty. And it
Wow. Okay.
sounds odd, but think about it. The kitchen is the heart of the home, right? We are always in the kitchen.
Yep.
And if that kitchen sink is overfilled with dishes, you walk in and you just feel like, ugh, and it kind of puts you in this state of anxiety and overwhelm,
Mm.
and it kind of puts you in a bad mood. The
Mm-hmm.
second that kitchen sink is empty, it doesn't matter what the rest of the house looks like all is well in the home, right?
Like the bed. Yeah.
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 So,
Hmm.
and it will domino effect. If you can keep that kitchen sink empty throughout your day, it will domino effect throughout other areas of your home unintentionally. Watch it happen. It is magic.
Interesting. Okay. I have to like provide my experience with these. The kitchen sink, I can't speak to as much because I've always been a clear kitchen sink person. I feel like people either
Awesome.
put their dirty dishes on the counter or they put them on the sink. Don't get me too excited. Like, don't praise me too much because they're all on the counter instead of in the sink. So it's just like, then they're not wet and I'm not grossed out. But it took me, I think probably until about 2 years ago or so, maybe 3 or 4, to start making my bed every single morning. And I remember when I first heard it, I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That doesn't make a difference. And you're so right. As you walk past your bedroom every day, even if you're just, as you're getting dressed over the next hour or whatever, it's like you're constantly noticing that you already won. You know, you already succeeded. You already,
Yes.
like, it's
Yes.
crazy. So it's this internal identity of like, I'm successful. I'm a winner. I'm on top of my stuff. And it's plus just practically, it takes up a large section of your room. So if it's clean, then the
Totally.
majority of the room looks clean.
Right.
So I love that. And then getting dressed for success. I mean, I work from home. I have for a long, long, long time. And I remember when I used to run my business in my messy bun and workout clothes, and occasionally it still happens, but by and large, even when I'm going to be home all day, even if I'm not doing videos, although ironically, when I get dressed up, then I do more videos, which of course grows my business. So it changes the way I see myself, and I make decisions from a successful place rather than from a self-defeated place. So I love that you have said that. And it's not what I was expecting for like life and home organizing advice, but it is so true. So I can see how someone would start to make these small shifts, would start to kind of get their momentum. What do you recommend to people who, and you have 5 children and a husband, share space? And maybe not everybody else is kind of the same mindset yet of getting our space together is going to like take our life to a whole new level. Come on, kids. I know you really want this. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
how do you get other people on board?
Okay, great question. So first of all, everything should have a home.
Okay.
Everything in your home should have a home. And then everyone inside your home should know where those homes are. Like, where does the chapstick live?
Oh
Where
man.
do the
Oh man.
hairbrushes
That's
live? Bad example, bad example. Like,
no, it's
where
a good
do all
one.
the pens live?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And everybody should be oriented to where everything should belong. Then I like to delegate responsibility and make
Okay.
everybody accountable. So
Mm,
there's no excuse. And everyone is playing a part in keeping your home functioning because it
mm,
can't all fall on you.
yep.
It's,
Yep.
you're not the only one living there. Everybody needs to play a part. And then you
I
need
love
to
that.
hold them accountable. Now, I will say there are times when things can get overwhelming. Maybe you just got back from a big vacation and everybody's laundry is, in the laundry room, everyone's luggage is everywhere and all the things haven't been put away. It can be overwhelming, even for a professional, where you'll walk into the space and be like, I don't know where to start. And that is
Mm,
totally normal. And my tip for that is focus in on one item. Whatever your eye lands
mm.
on first is going to be the one thing you're going to focus on for the next 10 minutes. Set a timer and collect everything in the room that has to do with that one item.
Interesting. That's good.
So, and then move on from there. 10 minutes is all you need. I say
Yeah.
10 minutes a day, and you will get through your house in no time. You will be so amazed at what
Mm,
you can do in 10 minutes, but focus in on one item at a time. So you walk into
okay.
a room, let's say you start with trash. So just repeat it to yourself, trash, trash. I'm looking for trash, trash. As you're picking up all the trash, don't get sidetracked. 10 minutes, trash. Then if you have time, you want to go on to the next thing. Okay, what does your eye land on next? Laundry or clothes.
Yeah.
Gather all the clothes off the floor,
Mm,
off the wherever. And so you're just focused on one item, 10 minutes. That's it.
mm. That's super good. And it's amazing because I know personally that it can feel very overwhelming. I mean, even when it's not a return from a trip, which is like the worst. I agree. Holidays, trips, and it's like everything explodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels like there's no way I could make a dent in this. And yet the reality is 10 minutes is doable. You can fit it in and it does make a difference. Like the little tiny steps are worth it. So I love that. Thank you for saying that. And out of curiosity, what did you use for accountability to help to help family members get on the
Mm,
same page? Or what do
great
you recommend?
question. Great question. So we set our chores up to where they kind of domino effect. So if child A doesn't get their job done, child B can't do their job, and then child C
Oh,
can't get their job. So they're like, hey, hey,
that's
it goes
good.
up the ladder, and they're like, get your stuff done so
Interesting.
I can get my stuff done so I can go. So they're holding each
Wow.
other
Oh,
accountable. Yeah,
that is brilliant because then you're not chasing everybody around the house as like the
exactly.
angry mom. They're
Exactly.
all chasing each other. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that right there is gold. That is gold. I'm gonna go tell my 3-year-old to get on my 6-year-old or vice versa. That's awesome. Okay, so so I think that it's the coolest story, and it's like what a microcosm kind of metaphor for what you do is this happened to you. You got your own life together. Now you're walking into other women's homes or other people's homes to help them kind of get their lives together. And then from there you're even helping people learn how to do exactly what you do. So it's like this gift that keeps on giving, because I imagine when someone experiences how life-changing it is to deal with your stuff. I feel like that is like a line you need to take and run with, but dealing with your internal stuff so you can deal with your external stuff and kind of the cycle that creates, positive cycle. You
Mhm.
want to share like
Oh,
the
totally.
transformation. So how did you transition? And I'm sure you do both or whatever, but how did you move then into being like, I want to help other women recognize what a valuable business this is for yourself and your family, and also for the people you're helping?
Well, just looking at my situation, I had all odds against me to be a successful
No
business
kidding.
owner, stay-at-home mom with 5 kids, my husband commuting to a farm that's 3 hours away.
Wow.
I was single mom most of the week. He would
Yeah.
go and stay at the farm. And anyway, to realize that you can take this skill and this gift that whether you've been blessed with or not, hone it and be able to do it around your schedule and still be home when the kids get home from school and still
Wow.
be available and be leaving such a positive impact in someone else's life. To see that
Mm.
I could do it made me want to share with the world and know that if I can do it, you can do it.
I love that because I think, especially post COVID, we're not even post yet, but since the beginning of COVID, we'll put it that way,
Yeah.
people have had the realization forced on them that we need alternate revenue streams, we need alternate income streams, we need some way of sometimes just keeping ourselves from getting bored stuck at home, but also of bringing in money, whether we're
Yeah.
single and this is for us because our job just got a shakeup, or we're in a family and we need to start helping, or we need to help differently. So I think when people start realizing that, they start panicking, like, oh my gosh, I need to join some network marketing company, or I need to like become an influencer online and sell some book I wrote or something. And this is such a need. Like the need is off the chain. It's huge. And I've seen the impact that too much stuff, both internal and external, can have on someone's life, someone's dreams, someone's family, all over the place. I mean, it's so common. So to embrace this as a way of either making money temporarily or starting a long-term business, I think
Yeah.
I was like, it's such an incredible opportunity for so many women, especially those of you blessed angelic creatures who already have natural tendencies, because this is not something I'm going to step into. I wouldn't, curse anyone with that. So what would be one of your top tips for a woman who's considering, wow, what if I started my own professional organizing business? What's the first thing you would kind of have her either think or begin to do?
Start doing it. Like, don't
Okay.
overthink it. Get out there and start helping as many people as you can. And start
Interesting. Okay.
collecting those testimonials. Start collecting that
Mm,
confidence in your ability to make somebody's life easier and better.
wow. Yeah. So just like start serving,
Just do it.
and
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
much, like, it is amazing how much that jump starts things. I think that
Yes.
people, they get kind of caught on, oh my gosh, I need to create a website. I need to have like
Mm-hmm.
branding colors and a
Yeah.
logo.
Yeah.
And in reality, people just need to know that you exist and you're willing to help and you're
Yep.
pretty good at it.
Yep.
So I think that goes for all businesses right there.
Right.
That is wisdom. So good. Well, where can women find you? So if they're interested in kind of like they are, I think, I mean, I'm even resonating, and how like this is not my strength, but this incredible story. And I think, again, because of the shift in the world, we've all become, in a good way, not necessarily a bad way, internally focused, like looking around in our
Yeah.
homes, looking
Yeah.
around in our relationships, looking into our own mind and our thought cycles that are suddenly so much more obvious because we're not distracted by
Yeah.
traveling and going into offices, and realizing, wow, I need to get my stuff together. And then I'm actually pretty good at getting stuff together. I think I could help somebody else get their stuff together. Where can they find you? Where can they learn more from you?
Totally. Come to my website, barbiejo.com.
Which is
Barbie
gorgeous.
Jo, J-O. Thank you, childhood nickname. And yeah, sign up for my masterclass. I have a free masterclass where I teach you how I got started and the simple steps I took to start business. And I did it
Mm.
on like zero budget.
That's incredible. That's just incredible. I think you're just such a testimony to, I know there's so many women, especially mothers of like quite a few children. More than two to me is quite a few. I'd like, that's a jump from like, you don't have any more hands. So you're so stunningly put together and calm and authentic.
Oh,
And I can't imagine a better person to learn this from. So even to women
thank
just
you.
watching this who feel like, I've been at home with my kids for COVID for the last year and a half. I've like gained a ton of weight. My marriage is like distant. I feel like a mess. Just seeing that it's possible to decide something's going to change. We're going to do it bit by bit, 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
It works. You can arrive in a completely different
Yep.
result. So thank you so much for
You're
sharing this with
welcome.
us.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It is an inspiration to me. And I know that to so many other women, it's
Oh.
when we see that it's possible and we give ourselves permission to do it, going back to what you were saying about us first, you first, like we don't even realize the number of people who we don't even know are watching, who are suddenly feeling like, I could do this too. And whether it's stepping into this as a business or whether it's just taking better care of themselves, organizing their space at last, it's like, oh, it can be done. So thank you, Barbie Jo, for showing us that it can be done.
You are so welcome.
Always a pleasure to talk with you. And I'm so excited.
Thanks
so
for
excited
having
for you guys to get to know her. My pleasure. All right, guys, if you want to find Barbie Jo, go to barbiejo.com. I cannot recommend following her anymore. Just a beautiful spirit, beautiful energy, and we will talk soon.